All right, and we're going to get started. So thanks y'all for coming out. I am glad that you are on the call tonight, and Liza and I are going to be presenting to you about really creating a team that you can run with. And first, just a couple administrative things. I created a new contest of sorts that is going to be active every month through at least March. And so what it is if you have a new ambassador who joins, if they stay for 90 days, they keep their auto qualification on, they keep at least 100 PV going through their website every month. So that's their own product or someone else's, a customer's product, it does not matter. And they get at least one new ambassador or one new customer during those 90 days. If they meet those basic requirements, then they are going to qualify to get their $34.95 reimbursed by me. So that is open to every single one of you. It is open to every single one of your new ambassadors, including people who started in January. So, but let's take somebody who started in January. For instance, if we just talk about, person A who started in January, Mary Smith starts January 2nd, and she must be active for the month of January, the month of February, and the month of March. And what that means is she has to have at least 100 PV go through her website every month. Her auto qualification has to be on. She needs to be buying a welcome kit when she joins or have 100 PV that first month. So in January, she's got that option of 100 PV through her website or a welcome kit. I always suggest people buy the welcome kit. It's the deepest discount you're ever going to get on the product, but I know sometimes for some reason that can't happen. You have to be active for all 90 days. And I want to tell you why, Liza and I talked about this plan a lot, and I want to tell you why we wanted to talk specifically about 90 days. And this really ties into what our training is about tonight as well. So it makes sense to talk about it now. 90 days, 60 to 90 days is critical for someone to see whether the products work, learn about the business, understand what they're getting into, and really someone mentally has to come into this knowing, okay, this is not going to change my life in 5 days. I'm not going to fully understand this business in 2 weeks. You have to set an expectation that it's going to take you time, and we believe 90 days is the amount of time it's going to take you to get comfortable with your products, to really start to see that you're having benefits, to fully understand, and not even fully, I still learn things, but to really understand what you're doing in the business and how it works and what the compensation plan's like. There's so much to learn. If someone comes in, and we've kind of had a small epidemic of people coming in and leaving very quickly, and I think that a lot of that is that they really don't realize what they're getting into, and they don't understand the amount of time it's going to take, for the products to work. They think they're getting into something where, bam, 2 weeks later, I'm going to feel amazing and I'm going to be, running a marathon. You're like, well, hold up, Even when I'm working with a customer, when I'm working with anybody, I always tell them, you've got to give these products 60 to 90 days. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what issue you're dealing with. Every single person who joins me as a customer or as an ambassador, I have told beforehand, you've got to commit to 60 to 90 days. And I have lots and lots of customers. Between Matt and I, we've never dropped below 2,000 PV. I used to be as high as 4,000 PV. So I've constantly had tons of customers, but every single one of them knows ahead of time, you've got to commit to 60 to 90 days. So I want you guys to start to understand that whole 90-day commitment and train people when they come in, when you're talking to them. I know sometimes it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to say that because what if they won't join just because of that reason? Well, on the flip side of that, you don't want someone to join and then quit 15, 30, 45 days later. If they're not in it for at least 60 to 90 days, they're not in it, and they're not going to be in it. So, it's not like we can hold them to it. We don't have a contract for them. There's nothing we can do to say, no, you told me 90 days. But mentally, if it's in their head, all right, I've really got to give this 90 days. Okay, I don't feel as great as I thought I would after 30 days. Ever, she did tell me it'll take 60 to 90 days. It's that mental mindset that you really need to have going. So it really does work. I promise you. It's what I do for everyone when they join my team. as my customers or my level 1 ambassadors. And yes, you'll still have a few that fall off regardless, but the majority are going to join with a stronger understanding of what they're getting into with that idea of 60 to 90 days. So it does work. So that's the contest. I'm like, I've gone off on a tangent, but it totally relates to tonight's topic, so it doesn't matter. But it's a 90-day contest. It is eligible for everyone who joins in January or February or March. I cannot say whether we'll continue it after that, but I've committed financially to doing this January, February, March, where obviously no one will be paid until at least April 1st, because that would only be the people who joined in January and stayed on January, February, March. They would get, if they meet all the qualifications, they will get their $34.95 back in April. So if that does not make sense, you can pull up the chat and ask questions and I will answer them, or you can private message me, later, or Liza. I think she knows enough about it. She's not feeling real great tonight, but she can answer your questions as well, which is a bummer because it's her birthday. So yay, happy birthday. But I'm sorry you're not feeling great. It must be that nasty cold weather. You should move to Florida. Anyway. All right, so let's talk specifically about how you can grow a team that is really going to run with you and that you can run with. We all want to sign an ambassador and have them just on fire for Plexus as much as we are. And so we wanted to give you some tips and ideas on how to make that happen, or at least how to kind of promote that and help that along. So our first step is give them, and Liza said she does this as well, that kind of mentally you need them to commit to 90 days. And obviously we just talked about that a lot, but that is a really big deal, to mentally have someone understand what they're getting into and that you feel that it's in their best interest to commit to themselves to 90 days. If someone says to you, oh, I can't do that, I don't even have money, I have no money for this, then you've got to say to them, listen, that is all the more reason to join as an ambassador and start working this business. But they have to actually work it. They have to post on Facebook every day. There have to be basic things that they're willing to do, or it's not going to work out. I literally, truly have a girlfriend who I've been talking to for at least 6 months, and she doesn't have the money, or it's this thing, or it's that thing, or whatever. And so she wanted to join as an ambassador and just turn off her, have no backup order on, but just pay the $34.95 to join. And from the get-go, not buy any product, not buy a welcome kit, not have her backup order on. And I said no, that I didn't want her. That when she's ready, when she's financially saved up enough money to buy a welcome kit, because you can't sell a product you've never tried. So when she is ready to commit to taking some products, when she is ready to turn that auto qualification on and work to find a customer so that she can start making money, then I would love to have her on my team. And I am here for you, and I am going to train you, and I'll do everything I can to help you. But I honestly told her, you shouldn't join, and I'm not going to be able to help you if you're not going to be committed to the basic rules of how this business runs. We have very few rules, very few, but the ones we have are really important. So, second thing is they have to commit. If you're going to be an ambassador, you have to commit to 100 PV every single month and having your auto ship turned on. And I always explain to people, my auto ship has never shipped out. I think somebody told me today I've been doing this 19 months. The customer service guy was like, you've been doing this a year and 7 months. Yes, I know. So in 19 months, my backup order, my auto shipment has never shipped because I worked to get a customer my first month, and obviously my family was committed and we were going to take the product. So meeting $100 minimum really is not that hard if you are going to be on the products yourself. Even if you're just going to do the slim, which everyone should do the triplex, but whatever, if you're just going to do the slim and your daughter's going to do the chewables and blah, 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 it's $100 minimum every month, not 75, not just a slim, not just a ProBio and a BioCleanse. That does not meet the minimum requirement to be an ambassador. If you know someone is only going to use the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse, then they need to commit right now All right, tell me who you might reach out to be customers. Do you have, have you been thinking about your mom, your sister? Who is it? Where are we going to find you a customer so you can meet that $100 minimum every month? You want them to be successful, and you want to make sure that they are going to meet the minimum requirement. And it's really important because I've had people say to me before, well, I mean, they can just turn their backup order off and it's okay. I mean, they can just have that product run through their account. Yeah, they can, but it's really not good for anybody. It's not good for the company in total. It's not good for our pay point. And if you don't understand the pay point, just a very brief synopsis of the pay point, but essentially the pay point is taking the total sales volume for the company and dividing it by all the ambassadors. So if you have ambassadors who are just doing $60, $40, $30, that's just lowering that pay point. It's just lowering the value of our company to us as kind of dividend receivers, almost as owners of the company. Every time that happens, it just lowers the value of the company. We want people to have higher PV. We want people to have over 500 PV. We want, all of that is a goal, not, 25, 75, whatever. No one is getting paid on that money. So that's a real bummer. If you had a customer who had a 75 PV, then you're getting paid on that. That's going to be part of your commission each month, your sales volume. But if you have an ambassador who gets 75 PV, you're not getting pay points on them because they're not hitting their $100 minimum, and no one's getting paid. They're not making any money. You're not making any money. Your upline's not making any money. No one. It's complete. It's almost like it didn't happen, except it did. So it's just not good. So we don't want that to happen. So they need to commit to 100 PV and their auto shipment on. If they tell you flat out, oh, no, I'm not going to be doing the triplex. I'm just going to be doing the slim. And yeah, I don't really think I'm going to be working the business. They're not ambassador material. They are a great customer. Convert that person into a preferred customer. As a matter of fact, I don't even tell somebody about being an ambassador unless I know they're going to get on the triplex. And then when I do, I say, okay, you need to do this. You've got a $100 minimum, blah, 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 all kind of rules. But if somebody's talking to me about just ProBio 5 and BioCleanse, ambassador is not an option because they're not using enough product. Unless they tell me specifically, and I really want to make money with this company. But if you're just talking about a wholesale ambassador, they would not qualify. So yeah, this is a business. They have to have over 100 PV. It's just, and if somebody, after a while says, gosh, I really only like the slim or something. Okay, let's get you some customers. What's your mom doing? Is who would need ProBio 5 in your life? Because hello, everyone needs it. Do you know anybody who has neuropathy? What about your kids getting on the vitamins? What about your kids getting on the ProBio 5 with you? That kind of a thing. I just started talking to them about it. I was talking to a girl, she lives out in California. She's one of my wholesale ambassadors. And she wants to turn back on, but she is only taking, certain products. And so I said to her, well, before you turn back on and start buying product, you need to get above 100 PV. And so, consider getting your kids on the ProBio 5 or whatever. But otherwise, you need to go back to being a customer because, just doesn't work. So those are kind of the rules of getting a good ambassador to start with. Obviously, it's really important that you start somebody the right way or else they're never going to run with you. And that's the only reason we're kind of harping on this tonight is because we're seeing where sometimes people have ambassadors join. And I mean, honestly, we've had multiple in November and December who joined, say, in November and were off by December. That was it. We got 1 month. We got one welcome pack. And I don't even know if they took all that product. I don't know what happened with them, but then they were gone. And that's not good for anybody. It's not good for them. It's a waste of their money. It's a waste of your time. It's just not good for anybody. So I want to make sure we start to get people fully understanding what they're committing to when they join Plexus. So let's assume we've done all that. Well, Liza, do you want to talk about any of that? Because I know you probably do.
Well, you covered most of everything I wanted to talk about, but it really, you guys just have to think about, this is your small business. You really have to think about it in those terms. This is your business. And if you can't get somebody to commit to you for 90 days, like Melissa said, because that's a big one for me, is because I truly believe that these products take, for some people, at least 90 days. And I think it's only fair for you and for them to understand that they really need to give this a fair shot, and this is your business. And if they're going to shut off after a month or even 2 months, it does you no good. If they want to back down to just order a bag of Slim, you make no money off of that. If they're a customer, you make money, like Melissa said. But if they're an ambassador and they're only ordering a bag of Slim for $69.95, you make no money on PV, and you make no money on points. The people above you make no money on points. This is it's a system. It really is. And the people 7 levels above count on that. When they see people are signing on and buying welcome packs and getting going, people look for this to how their business is building, and they're counting on this. So you really need to think about that in terms of your own business as well. This is your small business, and you need to be proud of that, because this is really a business for you. It's a business for all of us. And your uplines count on that as well. So if you're asking somebody for 90 days and 100 PV and to have their auto ship on, I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think, if they could agree to it for the first month and they're willing to buy, the triplex or the Slim and the Boost and the X Factor or whatever to get them above the 100 PV, I don't think that there's a reason, that they can't do it for 90 days. Okay, God forbid something happens financially to them. And obviously, like Melissa said, there's no commitment, but there needs to be a commitment, just a verbal commitment to you as a business owner, just, as a friend, that they're signing on, and and also, they're trusting you as well. So when you're having them sign on, they're looking to you for guidance. What's the next step? So truly to sit down with them or to do a call with them. And if you want to involve me on a conference call, I am more than happy to do this. I would love to do that, to do a conference call with your new ambassadors, or just to make sure that you are touching base with them within the first 48 hours. Several books that I've read and on the MLM Nation says if you don't meet with an ambassador within the first 24 to 48 hours, you lose them. You lose their excitement. You lose their enthusiasm. You just really need to be sitting down with these people. And then after that 48 hours, moving forward, keep that excitement going with them. Keep them passionate about what they're doing, following up with how it's going on the products, because a lot of these people, they're just starting out on that. We've had a lot of great contests in the last several months. November was a big one, the November to Remember contest. And yeah, a lot of people were signing on to get those points and to get those bonuses, and that was great. I mean, it was great for everybody to get those bonuses, but we lost a lot of those people. So I think that people were just signing to get people signed on to their team. I understand that, and I understand it's exciting, but the problem is you're not able to build your team if you're doing it that way, if you're just signing them on for a contest. And it's affecting everybody on the levels above you. We're trying to help you guys build your teams, and we're trying to help you build the team below you and trying to make this duplicatable. So it's really important that you guys really understand how this all works and how it works for everybody. And like Melissa said, that, it helps everybody in the company, and pay points are huge. And our pay points are different each month based on how many people have met the $100 PV. The more people we have on the teams meeting $100 PV, the higher the pay points are. That means the more money that we all make. So it benefits the whole company. I'm trying to think. I think that might be all that I really had to add to that. The only other thing that I'm going to say is you and I kind of have two different schools of thought on signing people for wholesale versus people who are definitely going to work the business. I definitely approach people. I do want to find out if they have any intention of working the business. Hopefully most of them say yes, but I look at like someone like Tanya, and she signed on, and I, honest to God, never thought she would work the business, and she went silver in 2 weeks. So, and she had been an ambassador since August, and she didn't start promoting until January. So there are those situations where you can sign someone who says, oh, I don't know if I'll ever work the business, but you're still getting points off of them. You're still getting their PV, and you never know how this could be life-changing for that person. And if they could all of a sudden one day say, you know what, I do want to share these products. So it's kind of a fine line. If you have somebody that you really think never will share it, then maybe they would be better off as a customer. I don't know. I'm kind of flexible on that whole thing, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will remind you that you might have been one of those people who said you were going to do wholesale and never shared it with anyone.
And you still signed me.
That's right. Oh, I'm all for wholesale ambassadors, because I truly believe you never know. If someone's willing to meet the minimum, you never know who's going to share. You never know who's going to end up with a huge team. I mean, just like you said, Tanya and you, and I could name tons of people. I have very few wholesale ambassadors who truly are like, I will never share this with anyone. And they really, Julie wasn't going to either. They really, they really mean it. I mean, I have maybe 3 or 4 who mean it. Like, I am never sharing with anyone. And they're like, some of them, yeah, Crystal wasn't going to either. That's true.
So I misunderstood you then. I thought you said if somebody says I will never share, then you just won't sign them as an ambassador.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I completely misunderstood you. And I was a little confused by that, because I thought, okay.
No.
Signing people, even though if they were just wholesale. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. As long as they're going to hit that $100 minimum, then I don't care. And I add them to my team page, and I check in with them. I obviously don't check in with them as much as like you and I talk, but I do check in with them at least once a month. And sometimes, go ahead.
It's really important. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to add, I just think it's really important to keep that excitement with your ambassadors, even if they are just signed on for wholesale. Make sure you're following up with them frequently. I mean, I don't overload them, but hey, how are you loving the products? What's going on with you? If they say, oh, well, I'm noticing I have more energy. Awesome. That's phenomenal. You're already starting to see results. Just keep that excitement. Even if they're not, maybe they signed on to lose weight and they're not losing weight. Okay, what changes are you experiencing? Keep the excitement going with them, because the more excitement they have with these products, the more excited they're going to get about the company and the business as a whole. Try and keep them involved on the team pages. Make sure, they're seeing things. I just think it's really important to just keep that passion about the products and really be, excited with your new ambassadors and your older ambassadors as well. Just, keep that momentum going with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't neglect anyone. And especially when they're all customers and ambassadors in the very beginning need a lot more hand-holding. They need you to be reaching out to them, asking them very specific questions about, how are you feeling? And, well, what about this? What about your energy? Are you going to the bathroom, once or twice a day? They need you to ask those questions and really engage them. And then absolutely, like Liza said, lift them up. And, it's funny, I had a new ambassador for wholesale for her and her husband. And she said to me, I don't know. I mean, I haven't lost any weight. It's like 3 weeks in. I haven't lost any weight. And I'm like, okay, well, and then I start going through are you doing this? Are you drinking your water? Da, da, da. Well, it comes to find out she's off all her GI meds. She no longer likes Diet Coke. Her husband, who's 100 pounds overweight, hasn't had a soda in 2 weeks. And I'm like, hello, like I was saying to Matt, like, oh my gosh, does she not see any of this? And honestly, she did not see any of it until we actually started having this back and forth conversation where all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, I haven't taken my GI meds, and I haven't been to the doctor, and I normally have to go 3 times a month. And she's like, I guess we're doing really great. I'm like, yeah, but she needed my help in seeing that. And I mean, I said to somebody today on our team page, when I'm writing, it's like smiley faces and exclamation points. And I want you to know that I'm happy and I'm excited. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. I'm so happy for you, blah, 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 with lots of exclamation points. You're going to know that I'm happy, and you need to lift people up like that as well. A couple other things. Once you've got somebody who is committed for 90 days to 100 PV on your team, train them, like Liza said. Do 3-way calls with your upline. Do one-on-one training with them. Go through the new welcome kit with them when they receive it. Say, hey, as soon as you get that welcome kit in, let's set up a time to talk. I want to walk you through a little bit of that. Let's set up a 15-minute call. Or, hey, Melissa and I want to do, a 15-minute Zoom with you and walk you through that new welcome kit, or whatever you feel comfortable with. If you're in Liza's downline, do it with Liza, or with me if she's busy, whatever. Your team is going to do what you do, so you have to lead by example. We all want our team members to be on calls, so you have to be on calls. We all want our team members to make sure that they're reading the post and commenting on the posts that are on the team page, so you have to be doing the same. If you want your team members to be doing a contest, you have to actively be pursuing the contest. It's huge. Even something as simple on a team page as liking and commenting on posts shows that you're engaged, shows your team that you're reading them, shows your team that you value the information that's on the team page. Welcoming new people just shows that you value and appreciate new people. Commenting on each other's posts. We do a lot of these things really, really well. And then you'll see your teammates, and I see it all the time, you guys add new people, and then all of a sudden they're commenting on each other's stuff. And I'm like, this is it's beautiful. It's amazing. But it's because they're going to follow what you do. Posting on Facebook every day, they're going to follow what you do. You can't tell somebody, hey, hop on this call, and then not get on. You absolutely have to. And I'm really saying that for anybody who's watching the call later, honestly, because I can tell you right now, people scroll through and they look and they're like, oh, this one's on, whoever. And if they don't see you on and you told them to get on the call, they're not going to know whether you watch this tomorrow. There's no way, unless you start talking to them about the call. Hey, what'd you think of when Melissa said this? You need to be on the calls if you're going to tag your team and tell them to be on the calls. Following up, we talked about that. Always being positive, talked about that. And, especially when we're going through challenging times, and I know that's part of what is kind of, was weird about November and December as well, was we were going through the back office change, and some people jumped on and were like, oh my gosh, this company's crazy, and then jump back off. But it's because we, as ambassadors who know better, are not portraying to them, okay, this is just a bump in the road, and this is the most amazing company, and I know that things are really strange right now, but I promise you everything's going to get better. Or even going back to them now, listen, I know you joined during a really wonky time and your shipping took forever and, it was really frustrating and whatever, but we're in a really good place right now, and this is an amazing company. So if there's a time to join us again, now is it. We're past all that. But you have to be that positive light for your downline, because they're looking to you to go, okay, is this good? Is this bad? What's going on? There's going to be other bumps in the road. There just are. But we just have to be a positive force during that. And we made it through, and it's getting better every day. Like Liza was saying the other day, and some of you probably, if you're not on her team, you didn't know, but she was saying how we have new reports in the back office where you can go back a couple months historically and see information in your genealogy report and a few other reports. There's great stuff out there. The back office gets better and better. Shipping is getting better and better. Customer service. We'll be back to where we were in no time. The customer service guy told me today that they've hired a whole new crew to join next week or the week after, sometime around Valentine's Day. And so waiting times are going to drop again, which is going to be awesome. So everything's getting back to the way it was, and it's going to be even better. So we're getting there. Something I was thinking today when looking at our leaderboard that goes along with running with a great team and making your team a team to run with is great customers. Happy customers make really great ambassadors. I talked about in the beginning how when I joined Plexus, I had 4,000 PV. A couple months in, I had 4,000 PV for multiple months. But I'll tell you why I didn't keep that. It's because I rolled those happy customers over to be happy ambassadors. And I still have dozens of those. Well, maybe not dozens because that would not be 4,000 PV. I mean, I have to have at least 10 of them still. I mean, I could tell you who they are if I had to really think about it, who were customers first and now are still happy ambassadors. Liz is one of them. But when you have that good PV, anything over $500, and then you want to start looking at those people and going, okay, who's been with me for a couple months, who definitely loves the products, who would like wholesale, maybe would share with their mama or their sister or, you know, their husband or their kids or whatever. Let me specifically reach out to them and talk to them about becoming an ambassador. And there are lots and lots and lots of you on this team who have very high PVs, which is really awesome and it's very fun. And you get paid well on it. But if you're looking long-term in this business, you have to roll that over and they have to become ambassadors. And that's how you really grow in this business. I can promise you that I made really good money off of 4,000 PV every month. I was actually able to quit my part-time accounting job with that. But I make much better money now with a lower PV and with many more of you on my team. The team is where the big money is, and that's how you really, really grow in this business. You can't have a high enough PV to make what you're going to make at Senior Ruby and Emerald and Sapphire and up, you know, as you just can't have enough PV. You'll never do it. So the last thing I really wanted to say is, you know, we can say all this about get everybody set up the right way and get them set to 90 days and make sure they know their 100 PV and, you know, rah, rah, and keep them happy and train them and blah, blah, blah. And you can do everything right and still have people turn off and still have people leave. And you have to be ready for that. So there's a fine line between, gosh, you know, Sally joined last month and then turned off this month. Oh, and so did Johnny and so did Tim and so did Sue. That's not good. That's a problem. But you're going to have, Sally's going to turn off, or whoever Sally is. There is going to be some attrition. It's normal. Celeste says you should expect 20% attrition over, you know, the life of your business, meaning if you have 5 people join, only 4 are really going to make it in the business and really going to stay with you. And that's okay. You have to know that that's all right. And that's part of the business. But there's just a fine line between, you know, the 20% not becoming 40 or 60 or 80% of your business falling off. So that's kind of where that difference lies. Miss Liza, anything else you want to say?
No, I think you pretty much covered it all. I think we got it. Okay.
Awesome. Well, if y'all have questions, let us know. And seriously, one-on-one calls, 3-way calls, all that stuff. Also with potentials. 3-way calls, sending that. Do you guys all have seen those new videos? The Plexus Journeys video is great. The Plexus compensation, that word would not come to my head. Plexus compensation video is another great one that are great tools to send to potentials. One or the other. That Journey video, it's kind of the what if this could change everything video, but I think it's actually called Plexus Journey. And it is an incredible quick video that really can, you know, move somebody to make a decision, even if you're sending the compensation or the Journey video to a customer to potentially have them sign up as an ambassador. Just be like, you know, this is our morale, this is our family, like you should join us and check out this video, kind of a thing. They're really great tools to help you. So, all right, that's all for tonight. Thanks for joining us and have a good night. Bye, guys.